Welcome back, folks. Thanks for tuning in to our educational series where we'll be breaking down the intersectional relationship between reproductive and environmental justice. Today, we'll be covering the ways in which climate-related disasters impact pregnancy. Pregnant people are especially vulnerable to the health impacts of severe weather and rising temperatures due to the physical, psychological, and social changes they experience during pregnancy. And the sad truth is that pregnancy in New Mexico is already risky. Many parts of the state are considered to be maternity healthcare deserts, which have limited access to OBGYN services and maternal care. New Mexico has a higher percentage of maternity healthcare deserts than the national average, with 17.9% of birthing people lacking a birthing hospital within 30 minutes. This is compared to 9.7% of birthing people in the U.S. On top of this, those who are pregnant in New Mexico must also consider the potential impact of severe weather events on their health, and our most vulnerable communities are disproportionately affected by these risks. Indigenous communities, those living in rural areas, and BIPOC populations are more likely to reside near environmental hazard zones, such as flood-prone areas, wildfire corridors, or regions with poor air quality. They often face systemic barriers to healthcare, emergency response, and infrastructure support, compounding potential risks during pregnancy. Chronic health conditions caused by severe weather, air pollution, and rising temperatures, such as cardiovascular disease, strokes, asthma, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and lung cancer, all increase the risk of pregnancy and postpartum complications. In New Mexico, birthing people with one or more chronic health conditions have a 43% increased likelihood of preterm birth, and 46.9% of counties in New Mexico have high rates of both chronic health conditions and preterm birth. During pregnancy, natural changes like increased oxygen consumption and blood volume heighten vulnerability to environmental exposures, particularly air pollution and heat. These physiological changes can make it harder to regulate body temperature, breathe in polluted air, and respond to stress, raising the risk of complications such as hypertensive disorders, premature placental separation, gestational diabetes, and stillbirth, especially in those with underlying coexisting conditions. Climate-related disasters amplify these risks by increasing the frequency and severity of heat waves, droughts, and extreme weather events, all of which leading to worsened air pollution. Studies show that prenatal exposure to pollutants from greenhouse gas emissions can significantly increase the risk of adverse outcomes such as low birth weight, preterm birth, and infant mortality. High heat exposure during pregnancy is also linked to an increased risk of preterm birth and stillbirth. One study found that for every 1.8 degrees rise in temperature, there's a 5% increase in preterm birth risk. Another found that exposure to traffic-related air pollution during pregnancy increases the risk of autism spectrum disorder by 30%. To stay safe in high heat, pregnant people can limit outdoor activities to cooler times, seek shade, and stay hydrated. Increasing fluid intake on hot days also helps to prevent heat stroke, and accessing air conditioning or cool showers is an effective way to cool off. Precautions for minimizing air pollution exposure include avoiding outdoor activities on high pollution days, wearing an N95 mask, and keeping windows closed. Investing in an air purifier or a home air filter can also help to maintain clean indoor air, as well as avoiding smoking, vaping, or using gas-powered appliances indoors. To begin to address the devastating consequences of rising temperatures and severe weather on pregnancy, we must recognize the intersection between reproductive and environmental justice. These harms aren't accidental. They're the result of policy decisions. Chronic underfunding of our maternal healthcare systems, weakening environmental regulations in rural areas, and ongoing disinvestment in rural and Indigenous communities all reflect systemic neglect by our government. These inequities leave pregnant people more vulnerable to environmental hazards, with fewer options for safe, accessible reproductive care. By recognizing this intersectionality, we understand that reducing our carbon footprint and supporting climate policies is not only essential for the health of our planet, but also crucial for ensuring healthy pregnancies and advocating for the rights of pregnant people. Through collective action and by demanding policy changes rooted in justice and equity, we can move toward a more just and sustainable future for all. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you again soon for an exploration of the intersection between greenhouse gases and childhood development.